Oh, well, welcome everyone. Welcome. Today I want to introduce you to the most fabulous, to the most amazing, magical, my unicorn client, my successful client, Mellisa. Welcome everyone and welcome, Mellisa. Mellisa, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Hi. So I am Mellisa May Dillon, and I mean, there's so much about me, right?
Yes.
I am pregnant for the first time, so that's a big part of who I am now is being a mom with a baby. So that's super cool. But about me, I am known as the insurance exam queen. That is my business and also my YouTube channel. So I help people pass the insurance state exam. I built this business in 1 year. And it was I built it to a six-figure business in 1 year. We're about a year and a couple of months from starting the business. But that's what I'm most known for, I think, right now. Prior to that, I was a middle school teacher, insurance agent as well. And I love to travel. I love to go all over the place. I'm a really big family girl. And I mean,
Yes, yes. No, I love everything, and I love your story, and I love your business and how you model and how your story transforms from teaching days to your own business, owning your business, being your own person, which is super amazing, which brings me to the next question. What did bring you to RTT, and what brought you to me, and what brought us together, working together, and why was RTT so appealing to you? Because I know you had a little bit knowledge prior to us meeting, and then us meeting kind of was just such alignment. So tell me a little bit about that.
So I had been on a journey of healing. Like I knew that, we have trauma from our past. We have past programming and conditioning, and that, we've got to acknowledge and heal that. Otherwise, it impacts everything that we do, essentially. In fact, being able to just even start a business or working for yourself, we run on these programs and these conditioning that says you have to have a job, you have to do this, you have to, do these things this way, or else the world, falls apart. And that kind of comes from, a lot of the programming and conditioning. I knew that I wanted to be free of those things, and also free of my past trauma. There's a lot of trauma in my history, not only from how I was raised by my parents, but within that, they had a very horrible divorce. My dad had, he has his own, mental illnesses. He's got his own trauma that he has yet to, identify, heal from at all. And so I was, raised in that environment where I was always worried and afraid of what, he might do. We had to, keep him happy. I had to be I had to be my dad's therapist. My whole childhood was centered around keeping him happy, so that we, didn't have days with him screaming and yelling, but he did continue to, scream and yell. Eventually, my parents had a very traumatic divorce that was really, really ugly for us. Then I had a stepmom who did not like me at all. She was coming from her own trauma as well. And so she just would always get me in trouble for all kinds of things, made up things. And it ultimately led to me going to a boarding school in Montana, which added on extra layers of trauma. And that place was very abusive. And they were even featured on Anderson Cooper, where they did a special talking about all the abuse at this place, but they're totally protected by religion and the state of Montana. And they're still in operation today. It's kind of crazy, but so just the point is so much trauma, right? So much from my past. Okay. And Zoo just feels like he has to make an appearance.
We love Zoo.
Scratching on my chair.
Yes, we love Zoo once you join us. Yes.
Yeah, he always comes. He's like, "Oh, Mama's talking about her trauma. I gotta go love on her."
Yes, protect her and snuggle her. Yes, I love
Yes.
Yes.
So lots of stuff. And I dabbled in, different ways of healing. There's so many different things you can do. And I was going through traditional therapy, which is great. And I, funny enough, I saw Marissa Peer, who created RTT. on LinkedIn of all places, as I was searching for new way, like I was looking to expand my career, but still like thinking I had to work for, a company. So I was on, LinkedIn. And I saw her, I started following her, and I really liked what she had to say about healing and about, living your life and doing what it is that you want to do. And when I saw that she had published a book, RTT, I don't remember the title of the book, but I think it's like the one where she, basically explains what RTT is.
Yeah.
I immediately listened to it on audio. And I even passed out a couple copies to my family because I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so, she does say that you do need, a practitioner to help you through the RTT process, but I hadn't yet, gotten to that point. But I did start to, do some of the things that she had said, in the book. And ultimately it was recognizing that everything that you're experiencing in your current reality at your current age, at the current time, goes back to something traumatic that happened to you when you were younger that has led to your current behaviors, your programming, your conditioning, etc. I'm going to pop him on the bed. And there's a pregnant belly baby.
Yay, so beautiful. Hi, baby belly.
And so what I love, and so this is the best way that I can think about like RTT, because we ultimately, what happens is, we have something traumatic that happens, and it builds a pattern or a system within us. Like, my dad, is always upset with me, screaming, yelling, and things like that. So it creates a behavior in me to want to, keep men happy. Right. Yeah. So then I have relationship after relationship after relationship with different men where I'm trying to, and I'm attracted, because my father was this way. I'm attracted to men who have these types of problems. Yes. And then, I try to fix them or heal them, because that's what I was raised to essentially do. Yeah. So every new relationship is adding trauma. And the thing about therapy is you're peeling back like one little layer at a time, like traditional therapy. Yes. And it can take a while sometimes to really go to the root cause, the root problem. And what I love about RTT is it's like very precise surgery to just cut through the layers of all the trauma, right? Yeah. Because it's like we spend time, well, let me figure out this last relationship I was in, or this, this one problem that I have. And then you peel that back, but then you have another layer, you got to peel that back, and then another. So with RTT, you just go like right to the issue. And what's cool, and, my mom recently had to have surgery. Her stomach went into her lung area because she was coughing. Aww. And they had to move it back down. And you think like surgery, they got to cut you open. But nowadays they have like these robotic arms where all they have to do is make little tiny incisions and put the little robotic arms in there. Yeah. To me, that's like what RTT is. It's not a painful cutting open, where we sometimes think with healing, we have to go into the past, and we avoid the past because the past is so bad. Yeah. But with RTT, it's just very surgical, very robotic to go right to the issue. Yeah. But at the same time, it's very, loving and supportive. Like I'm never afraid, and I'm not scared. I know that, they're like with my most recent RTT session, I was like, oh, like I hate that I have these feelings, and I hate having to kind of go into them. But at the same time, I knew that we'd be able to pull them out, cure them, and move forward. Yeah. And what's really, I feel like this last session has been one of the most powerful, and maybe because I am pregnant, I don't know. It was just way more, yes. Yeah. So I love RTT. And so with you and I had made a post about, healing our traumas and, understanding the things from the past and how they impact us. And I had recommended to people to read the RTT book. And you and I had met each other in a different group, and we became friends. I didn't even know that you were an RTT practitioner. Yeah. And you said, well, oh my gosh, I'm an RTT practitioner. And then that's how we started meeting together. And that's a cool and amazing thing about the universe is it'll bring to, like, and even in my business, I trust and know that it'll bring to me what I need. And it was just perfect alignment that you and I showed up, and you we started our sessions right around the time that I was beginning to build my business.
Yes.
And we began tackling things that were preventing me from doing what I wanted to do or accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish, or moving past fears about, money. I had quit my corporate job and I no longer had that steady paycheck. And, you've got this built-in past fears and conditioning that you need to see that steady paycheck or else the world is over. And so we began working on like money fears and things like that. And we go right to the issue. And what's really cool is with RTT, you get a recording at the end that you listen to help you reprogram the new thoughts that you want to have, the new programming, because ultimately we are running off of programs all the time. That's how our brain operates. But the thing is most of our programs were established by our parents in our childhood. We get to pick new ones. We get to have new ones. And so that's what RTT is doing. It's removing the old one, very surgical, but soft and gentle, very precise.
Yes.
And then implanting the new program and the new belief system. And when you go back to the recordings from my previous RTT sessions, it's like all of those things are true.
Yes.
Like one of them was like the YouTube channel and the customers, like, I think I probably had somewhere around like 100 subscribers when you and I first met. And now it's like almost 10,000 subscribers.
Yes.
And my whole business is based off of, my YouTube channel. And if you were to go back to that recording, everything that you're saying in there has come true or like is coming true. Like customers and one form of my business is helping just people study to test. But another segment is helping out agencies with their people who are studying and testing. And that means I get to build curriculum and I get to work with, managers and leaders, which is a whole other realm. And that was mentioned in that thing too. So it's just so cool how I've been able to, RTT has allowed me to take out the painful parts and replace them with, happy, amazing, just awesomeness, in my life, even with my relationships. So it's just been super, super cool.
Super amazing. Super. The only thing I want to a little bit touch bases, because people always, when they hear about new methods, like, oh, RTT, woo, 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 hypnosis, how people get, So when people talk about, oh, I got to go back in the past, but I don't want to look there. And when we talk about going back, we don't necessarily need to relive everything we have experienced, obviously. And that's where RTT is, the way you say, is making it a little bit more a guided transition through your emotions in order to see that you review things. You don't have to relive them. It is totally safe. You're in a safe space. And we can do this understanding of your subconscious programming together. But what is really powerful, that you get to understand what is happening at the time that's happening. We don't have to talk about it 10 years. We can actually go within the session, and within an hour, you got your answers back. Like, why am I acting this way? Why am I thinking this way? So I feel like it's this bridge of connecting your present to the past and not being so afraid to look in the past, because we cannot forget past. Past will always be a part of us, but past doesn't have to lead our life now. The way you say, like, we don't have to run by childhood programming.
Yeah, we can try to avoid it as much as we want, but the thing is it's running our daily life. Yes. And until you address it, you're not actually avoiding it. You're simply avoiding the fear of the pain you think you might experience, but you're living in that pain every single day that you don't go into it, that you don't, honor and recognize and heal it. And none of my sessions have ever been painful. What's most painful is realizing that I lived under this suffering for so long. Right. And it's more of a sadness for the little me that had to go through these things, and the adult me still living within that sadness. But then RTT allows you to heal it and move from it so that it's no longer impacting you. But I've never had a session where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I had to do that, or that was so scary, or anything like that. It's all been very gentle. It's all been very loving. It's all been filled with light. Like, you know, and it really is like a direct bridge. Like some of the things that I brought up are not things that I ever think about.
Yes.
You know, like sometimes our most traumatic moments that we remember are not even the things that ultimately led to how we operate. And when we go to, like, again, the RTT just goes right to the actual root of the problem. So many times we deal with, you know, the branches and the leaves instead of the main original cause.
Yes.
And most of us aren't even aware of the main original cause because so much of it happened when we were like little. Like in my last RTT, we pulled up something that happened when I was 3 years old. And I'm like, how do I even, and it's crazy. We do have all those memories. We do, whether we're consciously aware of them or not, we do. Like in the movie, the movie was about Inside Out, you know, like we have all these stored memories.
Yes, all of them. Yeah,
They're all available, you know. So it's just a way of getting right to the memory, the core memory, the file system that has created this program, and then you get to delete it, edit it, install a new program, and, you know, operate on a much better, higher frequency. My life is way far apart from who I was when we got started. Not even just how I feel, but even physically, you know, like my whole world is different. You know, I was living in Vegas. I was in an unhappy relationship. You know, was just, I mean, granted, I did start my business before officially you and I started working, but
yes.
It was at the very initial beginning stages of it where I was still really kind of shaky in what I was doing. And I was just like, I'm just going to keep going. And, you know, because, you know, my work with you, I was able to make it, you know, a lot more stable. I was more stable, both emotionally and within my environment. I was able to, the relationship that I had that I wasn't in love with went away, and I would open me up to, you know, this amazing loving relationship that I have now, leading to, you know, my pregnancy. And it's just worlds apart. Like I feel like I jumped timelines even.
Yes,
You know?
just like literally transported yourself, you know, the way we're talking actually, you know, that, you know, sometimes a lot of delays happens that just the way you said it, you know, because of our childhood trauma or whatever abuse we experienced in the past. And when we work hard, and RTT, I don't say it's hard work, it's more like deep healing work. When we work through those things, amazing things can happen so fast. And that's why I call you magical, because I think RTT is also a very releasing process where you understand certain things. I say, oh, okay, I understand myself better at such a deeper level. I can let go of that, release of that, and I'll move forward to so much better discovery and understanding. So
Zoo is begging for it. I don't know what he's doing.
they want mama's attention.
I don't know what he's doing. Come here. Woo! Anyway, sorry, I don't know what he's doing.
Well,
Daddy's got him. Okay.
I want to ask you one more question just before we wrap this up. Just like, how was it for you to do RTT before pregnant and actually coming back, because you're coming back client, doing it being pregnant? How did that feel for you? And would you recommend other people or other women who are pregnant to do it pregnant, you know? Because I think people sometimes when they're pregnant, they're like, oh, I don't want this to affect my baby. Because you get in this overprotective mode, which is totally understandable as a mom. So.
Yeah. So first I want to say that I probably am pregnant because of the work we did in RTT.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, I mean, as you know, one of the sessions we had, you know, we've had a few different sessions, but one of them really went into, you know, sexual intimacy, you know, how I even felt about my own body and some struggles that, you know, I had. And that was the last session we had before the pregnancy.
Yes.
And that was the recording, you know, that I was listening to, that led into the pregnancy. So I think you know, and what's wild to me with this whole pregnancy is I'm 35, and I know that there are women out there, you know, in my age bracket who struggle immensely to get pregnant. And for us, there was zero struggle. In fact, it happened so fast. I was in shock. I was like, we definitely wanted it. And we
Yes.
even hung a onesie over the bed. And, we worked hard at it,
Yeah.
but, I didn't think it would happen so quickly. And it really did. And I think so much of that was healing, the way I feel about my body and, loving my body, because your body goes through so much to create this human. And we've got to be able to love our bodies through that. And I think sometimes if you're not in a space to be able to love your body in a way that you need to understand the changes and things that happen, that your body might stop you from getting pregnant because you're not ready to handle this. You're not ready to take on, the changes that are going to occur. And you might need to be in a much better space to be able to do that. Like even my sister, she's not doing RTT, but her and I always talk about everything. She was diagnosed infertile, and she spent a long time focusing on loving her body and trusting her body. And then she got pregnant, and we're both pregnant at the same time. Now in the session, so with RTT, you do go, like, especially if you've read the book with Mellisa Peer, you learn that you're taken back to prior memories of what's happened in your past. The memories themselves, are of painful times.
Yes.
But I've never experienced the pain like fresh, like it's already in my body. It's already there.
Yes.
I'm not reliving it. I'm living it every day.
Yes.
Like it's already there.
Yes.
So to me, during, the session, going into those painful feelings and knowing that I'm pregnant, I know my baby feels everything I feel. I know that my baby is experiencing everything that I experience.
Yes.
And what's beautiful is, and through our session with you, we even talked to the baby, and you had me talk to the baby. And we got to say, hey, baby, like these are all mommy's feelings. We're getting all these cleared up so that you and I don't have to, have these anymore. Because everything about me and my DNA, and even the dad's DNA, is imprinted into the baby. So when I heal myself, I'm healing my child. And so I got to say, I'm taking us on a journey of healing so that both you and I can, feel better, be better, and, have happier lives. And there wasn't, so we made that distinction where we got to tell the baby, these are my feelings. You don't have to worry or take on these feelings. And then knowing that I'm removing them from our lineage, I'm removing them from our programmed, DNA, because you do get to change your DNA. You do get to change your programming. So to me, it just felt more beautiful. And honestly, I felt like I actually dipped in further and deeper, easier than some of my other RTT sessions. And maybe that's because I'm more open with all my hormones raging. I don't know. But there's been some sessions where it can be a little bit harder to kind of fall in to the memory that, that core memory. And this one just felt a lot easier. And I didn't experience, like, sometimes I experienced doubt in some of my sessions, just because we always doubt everything, like, is that really the thing, or do I really trust that?
Yeah.
Do I really trust that what I'm remembering is something that happened? Am I making this up, and
my mind playing tricks with me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And with this one, I didn't really feel that. And I just totally trusted, and that what I was experiencing was, legitimate. And I was totally open to opening it up.
Yes, it was super magical. That's why I wanted to get with you. That's why I wanted to do this with you, because it was one of the most magical session. And, I've been doing this for 2 years, and I've been doing, clients, but the pregnant you and having you from all the stages and having you right now and doing this, it was really special moment. So I'm so grateful that we got to do this together. And how would you recommend to other people to do this? Why would you recommend for people to try RTT?
I mean, I think everyone needs to do it. If there is one thing, any one thing in your life that you wish was different, or that you're unsatisfied with, or you're frustrated about where you're at, or you don't understand why this is going on, or you find yourself in relationships that are toxic and painful, or if you, I mean, anything that you're going through that you are unhappy or unsatisfied with, RTT can take care of it. And it might surprise you what comes up that is leading to that, you know, behavior and that situation or those circumstances. But ultimately, no matter what it is, you get to clean it up. You get to take care of it. I mean, RTT is like a very precise, clean, and loving way of removing anything that is harming the way that you function. And I know that at any point something comes up, I'm triggered by something, or I experience something, or I, you know, don't like the way that I was like, okay, I just did that and I don't like how I operated that way. I know that I could just call you and say, Alina, we have a new thing.
Something else arrived.
Yeah, we get to immediately, you know, jump in there and take care of it. And that's just so powerful. I mean, I don't think there's not one person that wouldn't benefit from RTT. And I do recommend it to everyone. I've sent you a few clients, you know.
Yes, you've sent several clients. Thank you.
And I'm like, some of them don't reach out to you, you know, like I'm referring way more people maybe than even actually show up because they're afraid or they're scared or whatever. But
yes,
but even the investment, the price, right?
Yes,
has returned to me 20-fold, you know, like it's so worth it. Like sometimes we're afraid, well, I'm scared to spend this money and, you know, will it work? Or, you know, will the result be worth it? It has always had an epic return of investment for me. And I can't recommend it enough because it's just so magical how quickly, easily, simply it's able to transform my life.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being so vulnerable and for allowing me to be a part of this journey. I am very grateful for each client I work, but from you, I have learned so much, and you have such an inspiration and such an amazing, magical moment where we connected with each other. We connected as people, as sisters, as women. And I got to learn and experience a beautiful connection beyond, you know, just the physical, just the human thing. And I always appreciate that connection. I can't wait to celebrate you every single day because I love seeing your beautiful face. And I will talk to you and connect to you soon. Love you.
Love you.